appeared to break up a dispute between a man believed to be teammate Darren Lee and an unidentified woman Saturday night at a music festival in New York City. Now, someone put 2 videos of the incident on Twitter, saying Williams was actually stopping Lee from harassing the woman. The 2 in these videos are wearing the same clothes, by the way, as you see. Darren Lee, there allegedly white, and Leonard Williams in the cream-colored shirt just pick him up. And the clothes they were wearing were the same that were from an Instagram photo from Leonard Williams' account earlier in the evening. So what exactly is going on? For more on this, we bring in ESPN Jets reporter Rich Cimini. Rich, the Jets have said they're aware of the incident, but that's about it. What more can you tell us?
Well, Trey, they are looking into the incident. They had practice today, and I was told that both players were at practice for today's OTAs. And I think it's probably safe to assume that Todd Bowles sat down and talked with both players. It's important to note that, according to police, there were no arrests in connection with this incident. I'm still waiting to hear back from the NFL, but typically, the typical protocol is they would look into something like this. There was no media availability today. Both players there'll be open practice tomorrow for media. I'm assuming both players will be available. The Jets are rightfully investigating this. These are 2 very important players. That's why this video went viral. These are 2 high-profile players, 2 former #1 picks. They're only 22 years old each. Never been in trouble, either one of them. And it's interesting because these are foundation players. The Jets are rebuilding this year. I think we all know that. And these are 2 guys they are counting on to be their future.
Rich, thanks for the video. It's pretty clear you don't want to mess with Leonard Williams. It looked like he picked him up like a sack of groceries. All right, Rich, thanks very much. We'll see what the Jets have to say, if they have anything more to say about that tomorrow, when, as you said, there will be media availability. We move on from NOLA.com. Saints' Nick Fairley apparently has heart issues that could jeopardize his career. The veteran defensive tackle has undergone a new medical evaluation that includes testing about a pre-existing heart condition. Fairley has not attended the Saints' first 2 sets of OTAs this season. For more on that, we now go inside the Verizon film room. Dan, what more do we know at this point? What more can you tell us?
Yeah, a little murky here, but what I was told is it's premature to say this is career-threatening. It's a heart condition that he's had for a while. It first came up in 2011, I believe, in a pre-draft physical. So they monitor it from time to time. And yes, it's possible that it could get to the point where they decide he shouldn't play anymore with it, and it's possible that they could get to that point this year or next year or 5 years from now. But at this point, I think they're in the evaluation stage.
Well, listen, Teddy, you're a guy that he might want to reach out to, because we all know what happened to you. You had the stroke, which was caused by a hole on your heart, correct?
Yes.
And you had to decide, with some unclear medical advice, whether or not to continue to play.
Right.
How did you go through that? What would you say to Nick Fairley?
Yeah, the pre-existing heart conditions I had. I played 9 years in the league with 2 holes in my heart. So I had to have a heart procedure to close those 2 holes in my heart after my stroke, because they found out after I have my stroke, they give you the full workup and they find out, like, oh, there it is. We need to fix that. So this is good news for Nick Fairley that they knew it, that they have the information. Now, what they do with it from here is up to the doctors, is up to Fairley. But I know definitely to have these issues, you can still play in the NFL. I had them closed, was okay, got cleared, and then I was back playing again. So we don't have all the medical information. But what I'd say to Nick Fairley is, just because there's a condition in your heart, the heart's a strong thing.
Yes,
it's a strong thing, and you get good medical professionals with you, you could be okay.
And look, for all the problems that the Saints had on defense last year, Nick Fairley was one of the bright spots. He actually played pretty well for them. So you hope first of all, you hope his health is fine.
It's more important than that.
Absolutely. No, I'm just saying, but that defense was terrible. Nick Fairley was not one of the reasons that defense was terrible last year. He did his job, and we hope that he can continue to do his job if medically that will be the case.
Yep.
Our next headline comes from TMZ. Giants wideout Roger Lewis was arrested for OVI, which is operating a vehicle while impaired. He was pulled over June 4th in Reynoldsburg, Ohio, for speeding in tinted windows, but during the stop, police said they smelled weed and noticed signs of intoxication. They asked Lewis for a breathalyzer test, but he refused. All right, Dan, look. Roger Lewis was a guy who's had some baggage in the past. He was undrafted because of 2 allegations of rape that were eventually dropped against him before he went to college, and that's why he wasn't at a bigger school like Ohio State. He went to a smaller school. But now you've got this, and you've got Odell Beckham. You've got Brandon Marshall. You've got Sterling Shepard. They just signed or drafted the tight end Evan Engram. Do they need this?
Well,
do they need this kind of issue?
And the other issue you run into is availability. He will be subject to the league's personal conduct policy. He could get suspended for something like this, and if that's the case, then obviously that's a you have to assess how available the player is going to be. Undrafted out of Bowling Green for reasons that you mentioned. A player the Giants like, but you list their wide receiver depth chart. He's at best their number 4 wide receiver right now, and if there's going to be a question of is he available, what's he getting into off the field, then obviously his roster spot is not so secure that it will automatically weather something like this.
Yeah, I will say this. This is the time of the year that's very dangerous for all players because once you get done with the OTAs and then once you get done with the mandatory minicamp, you have such a good weeks at a time where there's no contact and you all spread out across the country. And hopefully it's either Ben McAdoo or the number one voice in that locker room that says after that last minicamp practice about, listen, we got now 4 to 6 weeks, whatever time that you have, that this is our time now. Don't mess it up. That they respect that message either from that player or from McAdoo because you see all these young kids and all the problems that they're getting into, all the promise that the New York Giants have for this year. If something else happens, you can have suspensions with the league discipline to where September could be a part of the season where you may be minus some of your best players.
Yeah, this is the part of the year that coaches fear the worst because players have free time and lots of money.
Unsupervised.
And sometimes those two things for guys with lots of money at 23, 24, 25.